So within Tibetan Buddhism, one of the main points of lucid dreaming and dream yoga practice is as a preparation for death and dying. Lucid dream practice within Tibetan Buddhism is as a preparation for death, dying, and the after-death Bardo state. So the word Bardo, Tibetan Sanskrit word, I'm not sure where it came first, I believe it to be a Tibetan word, which means place in between, intermediate place. So actually this life is a Bardo. It is a Bardo between birth and death. Dream is a Bardo. Even this life has little Bardos, meditation Bardo and all this kind of stuff. But the Bardo I want to talk about now is the after-death Bardo. Within Tibetan Buddhism, it is believed that when you die, the physical body dies, your mind stream consciousness enters an intermediate state, an in-between state, before it enters its next rebirth. A dreamlike hallucinatory projection, which we experience once our mind stream has separated from the physical body which has died. The Bardo is said to be dreamlike. Like. It is not that the Bardo is some big dream that happens when you die. You don't like die and then go into a dream. But it is dreamlike. It's said that if the Bardo is to be similar to anything, it would be similar to a very intense dream. And in fact, I believe Rinpoche Tulku Rinpoche actually said, more like a nightmare, guys. And you go, oh God. So this is actually where nightmare practice is so beneficial within lucid dream training. So the Treasury of Abhidharma, a Buddhist text, says, we die in this world and later take rebirth. Between these two is the Bardo world. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, the states of death and after-death Bardo are analogous to the states of falling asleep and dream. So falling asleep is a bit like dying, death, and the after-death Bardo state is a little bit like dream, analogous to dream. So the thinking is this: if you can fall asleep consciously without blacking out, you are training yourself to die consciously without fully blacking out. And if you can dream lucidly, you are training yourself to become lucid, aware, within the Bardo. That is why we train in lucid dreams. Why would we want to become lucid within the Bardo? Apparently, if you become fully lucid within the Bardo, you have the opportunity for full realization. Some texts say you have to get lucid within the Bardo, then do a certain practice. Other texts just say just being lucid within the Bardo, just go, oh wow, rather than, oh wow, I'm dreaming, oh wow, I'm dead. That awareness, if you can have it, apparently holds the highest spiritual potentials. There's an old kind of, little funny parable about this. You've got this yogi who's been practicing in a cave for like 60 years, meditating every day, 20 hours a day and all this stuff. And he's on his deathbed, and he still isn't enlightened. And he's lying there, and he's got his assistant there, and he says, oh, I'm still not enlightened. And his assistant says, you got one more shot. He's talking about the Bardo. One more shot at it. I've got this book coming out at the end of the year. And as part of the research for the book, I got to interview loads of really cool lamas. By the way, the lama actually means highest mother. Lama, high mother. But it's a term given to Tibetan Buddhist teachers, usually who have done a 3-year retreat. Usually, or in this lineage, there's a requisite you do a 3-year isolated retreat. But anyway, it's this term. It's like think of it like master or something like that. We don't need to worry about that. So I got to interview all these lamas and stuff about dream yoga and lucid dreaming and stuff like that. And one of them was a lady called Lama Zangmo. Lama Zangmo is an amazing lama. She was, I believe, the first Western woman to be given the title Lama, or one of the first Western women. She won't tell me, but I think she's just being modest. She says, oh, I'm sure there were many more, but I don't think there were. She's Danish, and she runs the Buddhist centre where I live in London. And she's like a mother to me. She's very maternal. She has little ways of kind of ribbing me, of saying little things just to keep my ego in check, which I need. And so I was interviewing her about lucid dreaming, and I was going, oh, Lama, so if I really nail this lucid dreaming practice, I could become lucid in the Bardo. And she went, Charlie, you are less likely to become lucid in the Bardo through lucid dream training alone than you are to be able to throw a pen and a notepad out of the window of a moving aeroplane and a poem be written by the time it's done. I was like, how elaborate was she in her book down? I thought I'd been wasting my life. She said, lucid dream training is great, but you need to do a hell of a lot as well. A lot of daytime meditation practice, Vajrayana practice, or whatever the practice is, you need to be doing it too. So I thought, oh, okay. Then I interviewed my teacher, my guru, Lama Yeshe Rinpoche, who's a little bit less, reserved. And he said something that keeps me going. He said something that when it's 4 o'clock in the morning and my alarm's just gone off so I can do my dream yoga practice and all that, and all I want to do is go to sleep. And I'm thinking, why the hell do I bother with this stuff? Because I get doubt, of course I do. Totally. At those moments, this is the quote that gets me through it. If you want to know how your mind will be during death, look at how your mind is during your dreams. If you can remember to recognize the dream consistently, then death means nothing to you, because you can recognize the death bardo as a dream, and then you can be with Buddha. That's the golden quote for me. He is directly saying, if you really nail this practice, recognize the dream consistently. This is a Rinpoche who has done 11 years solo, isolated retreat. So when he says consistent, he does not mean a couple of lucid dreams a month or something. He means consistently recognize the dream as a dream. Then perhaps we can recognize the after-death bardo state and be with Buddha. Of course, there he means be with wakefulness, be with the enlightened mind, not just Buddha, of course. So it seems like it's worth doing. Right now, if someone came in here with a gun and put it to my head, 90% of me would be crying for my mum and begging for my life. But I can honestly say, 10% of me would be going, let's do this. Let's see if this stuff works. Let's see if 12 years lucid dreaming training pays off. Will I be able to recognize the Bardo? Honestly. And that's worth doing. Maybe after another 20 years practice, 30 years practice, 40 years practice, maybe there's a chance, even the smallest chance, that I might be able to enter death with a smile on my face. That's enough for me. Of course I won't know it till I'm dead. I'll try and come back and tell you guys. Death. God, death's a great one, isn't it? Shared commonality of human experience. Everyone does it. Everyone's going to do it. However much we failed in our lives, one thing we will be top-class successes at, dying. We will do it. And yet we never talk about it. You talk about death as openly as I do, you don't get asked back to dinner parties. I know it. It's morbid, it's moribund, you're like some, scary goth guy who's always going on about death. No. The paradox is, the more open you can be with your own mortality, the more conscious you will be of this life. I'm not saying we live every day like it's our last day on earth. It would be chaos. We'd be having sex with people and not turning up at work, and it'd be chaos. But maybe we can live every year like it's our last. Every month like it's our last. Every week like it's our last, maybe. Maybe that's accessible. Dzogchen Ponlop Rinpoche, again, this great Lama, he wrote a book called Mind Beyond Death. So if you're interested in the Bardo teaching both death and dream, it's got one of the best chapters on dream yoga. And it's accessible. You know, if it's written in a publicly available book, it's for everyone. You don't have to, you don't have to have transmission to do it. And in this book, he says, we have a choice to prepare ourselves for the most uncomfortable moment of our lives, or to meet that moment unprepared. The choice is yours. One of the most direct ways to prepare yourself for the most uncomfortable and yet most important moment of our lives is this training. Rob Nairn says every time you fall asleep, you're getting a trial run for death and dying. Every night. In fact, I heard Dalai Lama joke recently, I die 6 times a day. He's actually referring to a certain practice he does 6 times a day, certain visualization practice where you ready yourself for the Bardo, the death and dying process. Is anyone Jewish? Jew-boos. Love it. We've got Jew-boos. Actually, I'm presuming you're Buddhist, sorry. But in London we have a lot of Jew-boos. Jewish Buddhists. Jews make great Buddhists. Really. No, both wonderful traditions, really.
British ones too.
British ones too. So there's a Jewish parable called The Man Who Sleeps in the Storm. It's a great one about death and preparation. There's a farmer and he needs a new farm hand, someone to help him out around the farm. So he puts out an advert, I'm looking for a new farm hand. A couple of days later a guy turns up. He says, I want to be your new farmhand. And the farmer says, okay, can I see a letter of recommendation, a CV, from your last employer? And the guy says, yeah. And he gives him a piece of paper. And all it says is, he sleeps in a storm, signed by some farmer. And the farmer goes to his wife and he says, look, this guy's turned up. He looks like a good worker, but look what he gave me is his letter of recommendation. He sleeps in a storm. What does that mean? And his wife says, oh, forget it, just give him the job. So he gets the job. And he's very good on the farm, and he takes the cows in when the cows need to go in, and he does all the stuff in the granary and all this stuff. A few months later, middle of the night, the farmer's woken up in a start. There's a massive storm sweeping through the valley. And the farmer thinks, oh my God, the granary's going to get blown to smithereens, the cows are going to get, I don't know, sucked up in a tornado or something. He's freaking out. So he runs down the corridor and he bangs on the farmhand's door. Bang, bang, bang. Wake up, nothing. Bang, bang, bang. Wake up, nothing. So the farmer says, I'm going to have to do this myself. So he runs down to the granary, ready to see it in chaos. It's been locked up perfectly. All the grain stores are in perfect condition, locked up, tight. So he thinks, the cows. He runs down to the field, the cows are gone. Oh my God, they've been swept up in a tornado, all of them. No. The cows are being put away safely in the shed. Then the man realizes what the letter of recommendation means. He sleeps in a storm. The farmhand was prepared for the storm before the storm engulfed him. We can prepare ourselves for the storm of death in many ways. But one of the ways you can do this is through this practice. And then perhaps you can sleep through the storm, or be lucid through the storm, even better.